Earth sometimes reveals scenes that blur the line between reality and illusion. Amidst mountains, waterfalls, and surreal salt lakes, nature paints visions beyond imagination. Beside vast seas and fierce cliffs, strange shores and waters appear full of wonder. Deep blue holes resemble the eyes of the earth, staring straight into infinity. And now, let's begin this journey to uncover wonders that seem unreal, yet truly exist around us. Niagara Falls sits on the border of Canada, known worldwide for powerful water and an iconic natural status. It formed near the end of the Ice Age about 12,000 years ago, when retreating ice left a valley and the river crossed ancient rock. The drop is about 160 feet, but the great width turns the flow into a water curtain, creating mist and rainbows in the right light. In the 1960s, engineers once dried part of the falls to study erosion, a rare experiment at the scale of a major waterfall. Its water power was used for electricity from the late 19th century, linked to Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse and modern alternating current systems. This blend of ancient geology, engineering history, and water volume makes Niagara Falls clear evidence of natural force and human application. Cenote-Iqaluit is a nearly perfect circular sinkhole about 200 feet wide and 130 feet deep, forming a massive underground lake in limestone. The water surface lies about 85 feet below ground level, requiring visitors to descend stone staircases carved directly into the cliff walls. Long vines dangle from the rim of the sinkhole, with some reaching the water, creating a rare natural green curtain. It was once a sacred site for the ancient Maya, where skeletons and valuable offerings like gold jade and pottery were found at the bottom. Today, swimming here remains an experience tied to both ancient history and mysterious natural beauty. The Lofoten Islands sit inside Norway's Arctic Circle, known for sharp mountain ridges rising from the sea and steep rocky coasts forming an unusual skyline. Beneath the water lies a large cold water coral reef, indicating a rich ecosystem in northern seas. On shore, white sand beaches beside snow-covered slopes create a rare landscape pattern at high latitude. Basement rocks here are more than 3 billion years old, among the oldest on Earth, and revealing a long tectonic history. The surrounding waters host the yearly migration of millions of cod, supporting Norway's modern marine economy. Ancient caves with carvings older than 7,000 years, together with the Northern Lights, make Lofoten a source of inspiration for art and cinema. Reynisfjara Beach is Iceland's most famous black sand beach, formed from volcanic lava that erupted and cooled thousands of years ago. Towering basalt columns stand on the shore, looking like man-made architecture, but created entirely by nature. Waves here are extremely strong, called sneaker waves, because they can appear suddenly and sweep hundreds of feet inland. The black sand is not from ordinary minerals, but from volcanic basalt eroded into fine and rare grains. The mix of black sand, powerful waves, basalt cliffs, and ancient legends creates a landscape both strange and majestic. Reynisfjara Beach is often described as a beach from another world on Earth, attracting global attention. Munnar lies in the Western Ghats at an altitude of more than 5,000 feet, standing out with cool weather all year in tropical India. It is one of the largest and oldest tea-growing regions in the country, developed since the late 19th century and became an important production hub. The rarest phenomenon is the blooming of Kurinji flowers every 12 years, covering the mountain slopes in purple shades. Besides tea, Munnar also grows coffee, cocoa, and valuable spices, turning it into a remarkable agricultural center. Terraced slopes mixed with deep valleys create an unusual broken landscape rarely seen in other highland regions. Today, Munnar is an attractive place for ecological studies, photography, and experiencing the natural beauty of one of Asia's greatest tea highlands. Antelope Canyon is a famous slot canyon in Arizona formed from Navajo sandstone, created by desert sand more than 190 million years ago. Over millions of years, flash floods and wind carved the canyon walls into smooth flowing curves like natural waves. Its most iconic feature is the light beams shining through narrow openings from above, visible only during certain months each year. The rock walls change colors with sunlight, shifting from bright red and orange to soft purple and pink. The tall, narrow walls create strong echoes, making the place sound like a natural music hall. It is also one of the most photographed sites in the United States, often ranked highly in global photography lists. Sigiriya is a sandstone rock about 660 feet tall, rising above the plains, and regarded as one of South Asia's most remarkable landmarks. The path to the summit climbs hundreds of steps fixed into vertical walls, creating a striking ascent. The ancient gateway once formed a giant lion head, and today, two massive stone paws survive as symbols of royal power. Murals painted more than 1,500 years ago show women in traditional dress with mineral pigments that remain vivid. The wider complex reveals early urban planning, with moats, gardens, and natural defenses proving advanced architecture. Modern visitors admire its archaeological significance while experiencing the challenge of scaling a rock tied to ancient history. The Dead Sea is a salt lake located at the lowest point on Earth, about 1410 feet below sea level. With salinity over 30%, nearly 10 times that of the ocean, no fish can survive, but people can easily float on its surface. The lake was formed millions of years ago when geological shifts trapped seawater in a deep depression. Its mineral-rich mud, containing magnesium, potassium, and calcium, has long been used in medicine and cosmetics. The air here has higher oxygen levels and greater atmospheric pressure, which are believed to be beneficial for health. Salt patterns and sparkling white crystals create surreal scenery, making the Dead Sea one of the planet's most unique experiences. Milford Sound on New Zealand's South Island stretches about 10 miles to the Tasman Sea, standing out for sheer cliffs beside the water. Cliffs higher than 4,000 feet form near vertical walls, highlighting a narrow and deep fjord shape. The area receives over 250 inches of rain each year, producing countless waterfalls that drop directly from the cliffs into the fjord. A surface layer of tannin, rich fresh water darkens the water, allowing deep sea species to live at unusually shallow depths. Hundreds of thousands of visitors arrive each year, drawn by cliffs, waterfalls, and marine life in a single short journey. Avenue of the Baobab stands out with dozens of giant trees, nearly 100 feet tall, and trunks up to 120 feet around. Some trees here have lived for over 800 years, surviving centuries of climate change and deforestation across Madagascar. Baobabs can store up to 3,000 gallons of water inside their trunks, allowing them to survive long dry seasons. The bark is so thick and water-filled that it naturally prevents fire from reaching the inner living tissue of the tree. During the dry season, the trees shed all their leaves, revealing grey trunks that resemble stone pillars rising from red earth. This surreal landscape is considered a living museum of biological adaptation on harsh and ancient geological ground. Grand Teton features steep granite peaks rising over 3,700 feet, formed by tectonic faulting only about 10 million years ago. The elevation gain of more than 7,000 feet between valley floor and summit creates an almost vertical slope rarely seen in North America. Some cliffs were struck by lightning, melting granite into black natural glass embedded within the grey rock layers. Over 300 bird species and large mammals like grizzly bears, moose, and wolves still roam freely in this rugged mountain terrain. The park contains ancient glaciers still active for tens of thousands of years, but shrinking due to ongoing climate change. On clear days, the mountain range reflects across the lake's surface, forming a nearly perfect symmetrical landscape. Guangxi Falls is a 200-foot tall limestone waterfall where water flows into turquoise pools layered across natural rock formations. Its color changes with sunlight, an angle shifting from deep blue to silver as light hits the mineral-rich bottom. Rock layers eroded over thousands of years into terraces and rare horseshoe shapes formed by flowing water. Water from underground springs remains cool and clean all year, staying between 64 and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The falls were formed by an ancient karst system, with caves, sinkholes, and collapsed limestone shaping the area. Mist from falling water forms floating rainbows, adding surreal beauty to the dense tropical forest around it. Lapland lies within the Arctic Circle, where winter temperatures can drop to -40 Fahrenheit and landscapes are covered in endless snow. This region is world famous for the Northern Lights, visible more than 200 nights each year, turning the sky into a surreal light show. In summer, Lapland experiences the midnight sun lasting nearly 2 months, when daylight continues for 24 hours without darkness. Winter brings polar night when the sun disappears for weeks, leaving the sky in continuous darkness. The region holds thousands of glacial lakes and vast taiga forests stretching endlessly with pine spruce and birch trees. Reindeer outnumber people in Lapland, migrating hundreds of miles each year across snow, closely tied to the traditions of the Sami people. Krabi is famous for massive limestone cliffs rising beside the sea, formed over 200 million years ago from marine fossils. Some cliffs rise higher than 1,000 feet, forming giant natural walls glowing orange and pink under sunset light. The sea here is exceptionally clear with visibility over 100 feet and coral reefs filled with diverse tropical species. Huge limestone caves hold stalactites and stalagmites that have grown for thousands of years, creating dramatic underground landscapes. Vast mangrove forests along the coast protect ecosystems, maintain biodiversity, and naturally prevent erosion. This dramatic karst terrain is considered one of the most pristine and spectacular coastal landscapes on Earth. El Chiflón in Mexico is famous as one of the most powerful waterfalls, with the main drop over 390 feet from a limestone cliff. The water shines turquoise because of calcium and limestone minerals, creating a rare and unique view among green tropical forests. As it falls, the water explodes into mist, spreading across the area and reflecting sunlight into strange, sparkling effects. The pool below is dozens of feet deep, crystal clear like a mirror standing out among limestone walls and thick vegetation. The thunderous sound of the waterfall can be heard hundreds of feet away, showing the non-stop power of the flowing water. The whole scene of El Chiflón is both a geological proof of limestone erosion and a majestic natural landmark of Mexico. Lake Balia in Romania is a glacial lake at about 6,500 feet, formed during the last ice age thousands of years ago. The lake covers more than 0.1 square miles and is about 37 feet deep, surrounded by steep mountain cliffs. Its water comes mainly from melting snow and rain, staying clear and reflecting the sky and peaks in summer. The watercolor shifts with sunlight and depth, changing from bright blue to dark green, creating a rare and unusual landscape. The high mountain climate keeps snow here for many months, showing a strong contrast between summer and winter seasons. Lake Balea is seen as one of the most spectacular mountain lakes in the Carpathians, combining natural beauty and geological history. The Faroe Islands of Denmark are volcanic islands in the North Atlantic Ocean, known for wild scenery and rare geological features. Sea cliffs rise more than 1,500 feet, facing strong waves and forming natural walls in the middle of the ocean. Mountains nearly 2,900 feet high and deep valleys carved by ancient glaciers make the land both grand and rugged. The islands were created by volcanic lava more than 55 million years ago, leaving clear layers of black basalt rock. The land is covered mostly with grass and moss, while towering cliffs provide nesting grounds for millions of seabirds. The Faroe Islands are praised worldwide as one of the most striking and unusual coastal landscapes on Earth. Rui Bridge hangs about 460 feet above the valley floor, making it an astonishing structure because of its dramatic position. The bridge is more than 300 feet long, with 3 steel arches connected together, recreating the shape of the traditional Chinese Ruyi jade. Its steel and glass materials were specially made to resist corrosion, withstand strong winds and earthquakes, ensuring maximum safety. The chief designer also worked on the Beijing Olympic bird's nest, showing both prestige and high creativity. The bridge was built in 3 years and can carry thousands of visitors every single day. Soon after opening, it was ranked among the world's strangest pedestrian bridges and became a famous global check-in spot. Landwasser Viaduct was completed in 1902, rising about 213 feet high and stretching 146 feet, with 6 giant arches connecting steep mountain cliffs. The structure was built entirely from stone, without steel reinforcement, showcasing the remarkable engineering ability of that era. Its railway crosses the bridge before entering a tunnel cut straight into the mountain, creating a rare scene worldwide. It is an important part of the Alpine Railway system and recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Stones were taken from surrounding mountains, allowing the viaduct to blend naturally with the rugged alpine landscape. After more than 120 years, Landwasser Viaduct still stands strong and in daily use, symbolizing both engineering excellence and Swiss identity. Cliffs of Moher is a sea cliff that rises about 702 feet and stretches over 9 miles along Ireland's western coastline. It was formed more than 300 million years ago from layers of ancient sandstone and shale built up over time. With no fixed barrier, visitors can stand close to the edge and feel strong ocean winds rushing upward. Over 20 seabird species nest on the cliffs, making it one of the largest natural bird colonies in the North Atlantic. These cliffs have appeared in blockbuster films and are now a UNESCO Global Geopark for their rare geology and stunning scenery. Landmannalauga in Iceland was formed by a volcanic eruption about 600 years ago, leaving behind a vast black lava field still visible today. The rhyolite mountains here display colors of red, orange, yellow, green, and purple that shift vividly under changing sunlight throughout the day. Natural hot springs emerge right in the volcanic area, creating a rare combination of geothermal activity and rugged mountain scenery. Layers of volcanic ash and lava have been preserved over time, turning the region into a massive open-air geological gallery. Wide valleys, rough terrain, and constantly shifting colors make this one of the most famous trekking destinations in Iceland. Keukenhof in the Netherlands is called the Spring Garden of Europe, open only about 8 weeks each year, but attracting over 1 million visitors. The garden covers 79 acres, with over 7 million flower bulbs planted by hand before opening season. The highlight is tulips, with more than 800 varieties ranging from classic kinds to modern hybrids showing bright and colorful displays. Besides tulips, more than 100 other flowers, like orchids, daffodils, and roses, are shown, creating diverse scenery across the entire garden. Every year, Keukenhof changes its full design, following a new theme, turning the landscape into a living artwork. It is not only the largest outdoor flower exhibition in the world, but also the place where many new flower varieties are first introduced. Meteora in Greece was formed from sandstone deposits over 60 million years ago, when an ancient seabed was uplifted and eroded into massive stone pillars. These formations rise about 1,300 feet, standing nearly vertical, creating one of the most remarkable natural stone towers in Europe. The combination of towering sandstone cliffs and man-made structures on top makes Meteora a rare dual heritage site worldwide. In 1988, Meteora was designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site for its outstanding geological and cultural value. This landscape is described as a giant natural stone tower, standing for millions of years as living proof of the power of time. Bran Castle in Romania was built in the late 14th century on a limestone cliff about 2,500 feet high, guarding a strategic route between Transylvania and Wallachia. The castle is globally famous for its link to the Dracula legend from Bram Stoker's 1897 novel, though it was not Vlad Tepes's main residence. It holds over 60 rooms, with hidden staircases and secret passages, along with stone walls nearly 6 feet thick, adding mystery. Historically, it served as a military fortress, a customs post, and later, the summer residence of Queen Marie of Romania. Today, Bran Castle functions as a museum attracting hundreds of thousands of visitors annually, making it one of Romania's most iconic cultural landmarks. Cetina River Spring in Croatia is famous for its dragon's eye shape, where water shifts from light turquoise to deep blue, creating a rare view. The spring emerges from more than 490 feet deep, yet its true depth remains unexplored. This crystal-clear source begins the Cetina River, stretching over 60 miles and providing vital water for downstream communities. The spring is surrounded by ancient karst limestone formed over millions of years, giving it geological significance. Divers have tried to explore, but faced freezing temperatures and high pressure, adding more mystery. Cetina River Spring stands as a natural wonder and a unique destination where science and scenery meet in striking harmony. Eagle's Nest in Germany was built on a mountain peak about 6,017 feet high, offering one of the rarest panoramic views of the Alps in Europe. The structure stands out with solid granite architecture, blending into sheer cliffs and pushing the limits of construction at the time. The access road was carved through rugged slopes, connecting directly to a special elevator inside the mountain to reach the top. Its position makes it appear suspended in the sky, where sunrise and sunset transform the mountain scenery throughout the day. Today, Eagle's Nest is both proof of unique construction techniques and a major destination known for its breathtaking alpine landscape. Caño Cristales in Colombia is called the River of Five Colors, showing red, yellow, green, black, and blue, all flowing together in one stream. This unique phenomenon comes from the freshwater plant, Macrorhinia clavigera, which changes color when sunlight and water levels reach perfect conditions. From May to November, the river becomes a living painting, while the rest of the year it stays clear blue. Its riverbed belongs to the Precambrian era, more than 1.2 billion years old, making it one of Earth's oldest rock formations. The seasonal beauty draws photographers and filmmakers worldwide, eager to capture its rare transformation. The mix of ancient geology and vibrant natural colors makes Caño Cristales one of the world's most unique river wonders. Lake Baikal is the deepest freshwater lake on Earth, at about 587 feet, confirmed by decades of geological and bathymetric surveys. The lake holds nearly 20% of the planet's unfrozen fresh water, making it a reservoir on a global scale. Its water is exceptionally clear, with vertical visibility around 130 feet, which supports effective visual and optical observations. In winter, a recognized blue ice phenomenon appears as light reflects within crystalline blocks, producing a distinct blue tone. NASA has used satellite imagery to record long ice cracks and unusual circular patterns for studies of surface physics and planetary comparisons. Together, these indicators show Baikal functions as a large natural laboratory suitable for hydrology, glaciology, and seasonal change research. Kyrgyzfell is considered one of Iceland's most iconic mountains, rising about 19 feet, with a rare symmetrical shape resembling a church steeple. Its isolated position by the sea makes the peak stand out and recognizable from long distances. With its nearly perfect form, Kyrgyzfell has become a global landmark, often seen in landscape photos, art collections, and international films. The steep and slippery slopes make climbing risky and only suitable for experienced mountaineers. Still, the unique scenery draws countless visitors and photographers eager to capture its dramatic profile. Known as the most photographed mountain in Iceland, Kyrgyzfell proves its rare and powerful visual appeal. Calbuco is one of the most active volcanoes in the Andes, about 6,500 feet high, with a snow-covered peak, creating a striking view. Since the 19th century, it has erupted more than 30 times often, causing serious impact on a wide surrounding area. The 2015 eruption was famous for producing an ash column over 65,000 feet, reaching Argentina and even visible from space. Massive ash clouds change the sky while also transforming the ecosystem around the volcano. The nearby landscape includes green lakes, ancient forests, and native vegetation, contrasting with the destructive lava flows. This contrast between destruction and renewal makes Calbuco one of the most remarkable volcanoes in South America. Oya sits on a volcanic cliff hundreds of feet high, opening a full view of the Aegean with steep terrain and striking blue domes. White and blue homes are half-built into volcanic rock, keeping interiors cooler in summer and warmer in cold seasons through natural insulation. The steep ground forms narrow slopes and linked terraces connecting building levels into a continuous architectural labyrinth. A strict white and blue palette is preserved by regulation, maintaining a globally recognized iconic image for the town. Building along the caldera slope creates a compact layout that maximizes ocean views from many angles. With this rare blend of architecture and landscape, Oya ranks among top honeymoon paradises worldwide. Victoria Falls lies on the Zambezi River at the border of Zambia, and Zimbabwe, considered the largest waterfall in the world by total water surface. At peak flow, hundreds of thousands of gallons per second drop, creating massive spray visible from more than 20 miles away. This powerful display gave it the traditional name "Smoke That Thunders," describing both the roaring sound and the rising mist. With its great width and height combined, Victoria Falls forms a giant water curtain, rarely matched on Earth. Beyond scenery, the falls support a diverse ecosystem with many species of plants and animals. Its enormous scale and unique geology earned Victoria Falls recognition as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The canola flower fields cover tens of thousands of acres, turning the valley into a golden sea each spring. Cone-shaped limestone peaks rise densely from the flatlands, creating a rare visual effect like black islands floating in yellow waves. Blooming from February to April, the golden color covers the land, attracting travelers and photographers from around the world. It is also one of China's largest honey-producing regions, supported by millions of bees during the flowering season. This spring scenery has appeared in international travel magazines thanks to its spectacular beauty. The canola flower fields are not only a natural wonder, but also an agricultural and cultural heritage with global symbolic value. Patlian Lake sits around 13,000 feet in Pakistan's Himalayan region and is considered a natural high-altitude glacial lake. The lake is isolated in a remote valley and is usually reached on foot or by horse along steep, rocky trails. Its main supply is meltwater from peaks with year-round snow, producing turquoise color and clarity that reveals the rocky bed. From May to August, purple, pink, and white flowers blanket the hillsides around the lake, highlighting the edge between water and summer grasslands. The lake water has very high purity, with almost no impurities, and is considered one of the cleanest natural freshwater sources in the region. It remains one of the last hidden destinations in the Himalayas for those seeking a truly wild and untouched experience. Red Beach is the only place on Earth with a natural red beach stretching for miles, but completely covered by plants, not sand. The bright red color comes from Sueda salsa, a salt-loving seaweed that changes color as seasons shift. The landscape turns from light green in summer to deep red in fall, showing a natural color transition over time. The flat marshland with salty soil and brackish water creates perfect conditions for this strange biological carpet to grow. The expanse covers dozens of square miles, forming a continuous color field when seen from above and covering the wetland space. Red Beach is not only visually stunning, but also stands as a natural symbol of extreme biological adaptation. Machu Picchu is famous for its earthquake-proof design, where thousands of multi-ton stones fit tightly without mortar. Its location between peaks made the Inca see it as the center connecting humans with the universe. The layout is aligned with the sun and cosmic events, proving advanced cosmic knowledge. A hidden water system kept the site stable for centuries in heavy mountain rains. Strangely, Machu Picchu stayed firm through time, weather, and earthquakes without collapse. Today, Machu Picchu still radiates mystery, making visitors feel they step into a surreal world. Multnomah Falls is among the most visited waterfalls in the United States thanks to its grandeur and easy access. It stands about 620 feet tall, the highest waterfall in Oregon, and among the tallest in the country. Its two-tier shape, with an upper drop of 542 feet and a lower drop of 69 feet, creates a rare, layered water curtain. Dark volcanic basalt cliffs formed from ancient cooled lava provide a stark backdrop to the white flow. Snowmelt and underground springs keep water running year-round, supporting a moist ecosystem with moss and shade-loving plants. This blend of height two-tier structure and basalt setting makes Multnomah Falls one of North America's most admired waterfalls. Mount Fuji in Japan stands about 12,390 feet, making it the highest mountain in the country and a symbol of nature and culture. It was formed by many eruptions over hundreds of thousands of years, with the last one in 1707, leaving clear traces. At its summit lies a crater nearly 1,600 feet wide, showing that its volcanic origin is still active. For centuries, Mount Fuji has been sacred in Shinto and Buddhism, serving as a pilgrimage site for Japanese people. Its image appears in many artworks, most famously in the woodblock series 36 Views of Mount Fuji. In 2013, UNESCO recognized Mount Fuji as a World Cultural Heritage Site for its spiritual, artistic, and religious value. Old Bagan was the capital of the pagan kingdom from the 9th to the 13th century, serving as Myanmar's greatest political and religious center of that era. At its height, more than 1,000 religious structures were built, creating an immense complex of temples and stupas. Today, about 2,000 monuments still stand, making Bagan one of the largest Buddhist archaeological sites in the world. Most were built from red brick, and many temples retain intricate carvings that have survived for nearly 1,000 years. Despite earthquake damage, many structures have been restored to preserve their original cultural and historical value. Now Old Bagan is seen as a vast outdoor museum, where ancient architecture blends seamlessly with the natural landscape. Zakynthos lies in the Ionian Sea, west of Greece, covering about 157 square miles, and is known for its impressive coastal scenery. The island was formed from limestone, shaped over millions of years by tectonics and erosion, creating sheer cliffs and unusual sea caves. Cliffs rising hundreds of feet, combine with white sandy beaches and turquoise waters, producing a rare and striking contrast. It is also an important nesting site for the endangered loggerhead turtle Caretta caretta, protected across the Mediterranean. The island's history includes rule by major empires such as Rome, Byzantine Venice, and Ottoman, leaving a diverse cultural legacy. Today, Zakynthos is both a famous tourist destination and a place combining ecological research, archaeology, and unique sea mountain landscapes. The Atacama Desert is known as one of the driest places on Earth, with areas that have seen no rain for centuries. The desert lies between the Andes and the Pacific Ocean, blocked on both sides, creating an extremely dry climate. Its surface holds valuable minerals like copper nitrate and lithium, playing an important role in global industry. Some regions look and feel like Mars, so NASA tested robotic rovers in the landscape. Volcanoes higher than 19,000 feet surround the desert, adding unique geological features. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the Atacama supplied most of the world's natural nitrate. The Caucasus Mountains lie between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea, forming a natural border between Europe and Asia. Many peaks rise above 16,000 feet, covered year-round in snow and massive glaciers, creating dramatic scenery. The region holds more than 2,000 glaciers, providing essential fresh water for major rivers across the land. It is also one of the most biodiverse areas of Eurasia, home to species like the Caucasus leopard and wild mountain goats. Dark basalt fields from ancient volcanoes remain as evidence of a violent eruptive past. Beyond geology and ecology, the Caucasus serves as a historic corridor where visitors can climb peaks, cross glaciers, and face harsh natural conditions. Rainbow Mountain, also called the Seven-Color Mountain, is famous for exposed mineral bands that paint red, yellow, and green across its slopes. The peak rises above 17,000 feet in the Andes, making the approach challenging due to thin air and steep terrain. Its colors formed by mineral deposition over millions of years with iron, giving red copper, giving green, and sulfur giving yellow, later uplifted and eroded. The surrounding highlands host a diverse alpine ecosystem, including Andean camelids such as alpaca, with hardy cold, adapted plants and animals. In Andean culture, multicolored mountains are sacred places linking sky and earth where people offer prayers. In recent years, Rainbow Mountain has shifted from a little-known site to a widely recognized global symbol. Death Valley National Park in California is the lowest point in North America, with its basin lying 282 feet below sea level. It also recorded a world-famous temperature of 134 degrees in 1913, making it one of the hottest places on Earth. The desert gets only about 2 inches of rain each year, leaving an endless dry landscape. The valley floor is covered in white salt left behind when ancient lakes evaporated, shining brightly against dark rocks. Sand dunes reaching 700 feet high and mysterious moving stones that leave tracks across the ground fascinate scientists. Despite harsh conditions, the desert ecosystem endures, and the raw landscape serves both geological research and film productions. Isle of Skye stands out for its ancient basalt terrain, shaped by volcanic and glacial activity hundreds of millions of years ago. Towering sea cliffs rise hundreds of feet where mysterious shipwrecks occurred in the past. Some lakes nearly 100 feet deep were formed by post-glacial sinkholes and change color depending on the light. Many basalt columns on the island appear in strange shapes, rising like walls, or stacked vertically in the natural landscape. In several spots, sedimentary rock layers, more than 170 million years old, are clearly visible right on the surface. The whole island is an outdoor geological museum, often called a geological open book, by scientists around the world. Antarctica is the coldest place on Earth, where temperatures once dropped to minus 128 degrees Fahrenheit, a record never broken. Some regions have had no rain or snow for millions of years, forming a cold desert covered in ice but extremely dry. Some icebergs here are as large as small countries, stretching over 60 miles long and surviving for decades. This continent holds about 90% of Earth's ice, and nearly 70% of its fresh water, yet has no permanent residents. In Antarctica, the sun stays above the horizon for months in summer, then disappears completely below it throughout the long polar winter. Beneath hundreds of thousands of years of snow, compression, lies a surface made not of rock, but of ancient solid ice over 2 miles thick. Monument Valley lies on the Colorado Plateau with massive red sandstone formations rising over 1,000 feet above the flat desert. These rocks appear as towers' columns or giant tables formed by more than 50 million years of erosion and weathering. The bright red color comes from iron oxide shifting shades with sunlight, from vivid red by day to deep purple at sunset. Some formations contain marine fossils, proving this region was once covered by ocean hundreds of millions of years ago. The sandstone layers date back to the Triassic and Jurassic periods, around 190 to 250 million years old. This landscape became world famous through Hollywood films, turning it into a visual symbol of the American West. Mount Roraima is a striking table mountain in South America, rising about 9,200 feet, with vertical cliffs up to 1,300 feet high. It is an ancient rock formation over 2 billion years old, among the oldest geological structures still existing on Earth. The summit covers more than 12 square miles and is almost perfectly flat, isolated from the outside world like a plateau. Rain falls nearly every day, creating hundreds of waterfalls that plunge directly from the cliffs into the rainforest below. Thick clouds often surround the summit, sometimes making the mountain disappear completely from view on the ground. Scientists describe Mount Roraima as a natural time capsule, preserving isolated ecosystems and geology for millions of years. Havasu Falls is about 100 feet tall in Arizona, famous for its bright turquoise water created by calcium carbonate minerals. The stream falls from red sandstone cliffs, creating a sharp contrast and making the scenery a rare natural wonder. At the base, crystal-clear pools and limestone terraces were formed over thousands of years by mineral deposits. The watercolor shifts slightly with sunlight, from turquoise to deep blue, producing a vivid and lively scene. Minerals in the water continuously rebuild limestone terraces, creating a unique and evolving natural ecosystem. Havasu Falls is often ranked among the world's most beautiful waterfalls, called a green oasis in Arizona's desert. Sequoia National Park in California is famous for its giant trees, with some living more than 3,000 years and rising over 260 feet. These massive trunks were once carved into tunnels for cars to pass through, showing their extraordinary size in a visible way. The bark can be 3 feet thick, protecting against wildfires, while fires also help sequoia seeds open and start growing. The largest sequoia trees can reach a volume of more than 52,000 cubic feet, making them some of the biggest living things on Earth. Some of these trees existed before ancient civilizations, turning them into living witnesses of natural history over time. It is a rare site that preserves natural records of giant trees, while also showing unique geology and incredible biological diversity. Lençóis Maranhenses in Brazil is famous for its rare landscape, where endless white sand dunes stretch for hundreds of miles, mixed with countless turquoise lagoons. During the rainy season, rainwater collects between the sand valleys, creating thousands of temporary lakes that can be as deep as 10 feet. Although called a desert, this region receives unusual heavy rainfall, making it one of the few deserts with a freshwater ecosystem. Small fish survive in the lagoons thanks to eggs lying dormant in the sand and hatching only when rainwater arrives. The water changes color from blue to green, depending on sunlight and minerals within the bright white sand. From above, the whole scene looks like a giant bedsheet with flowing folds stretching vividly across the desert. Durmitor National Park in Montenegro is famous for its limestone mountains with more than 40 peaks above 6,500 feet and the highest over 8,200 feet. A canyon, more than 4,300 feet deep, is considered one of the deepest in the world, creating an extremely striking landscape. The park also has more than 18 glacial lakes called mountain eyes, with deep blue water reflecting the surrounding peaks. Meltwater streams flow throughout the year, providing clear water and supporting the park's diverse ecosystem. Valleys, ancient glaciers, and sinkholes here still show clear traces of the Ice Age. Durmitor was recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1980 as a clear proof of geological and ecological diversity in the Balkans. Zlatni Rat in Croatia is famous as one of the most unique beaches, with a white spit nearly 0.3 miles long stretching into the Adriatic. The shape of the spit changes often under the effect of waves and wind, sometimes shifting dozens of feet in a single day. The beach is not made of sand, but of tiny white pebbles, making the water so clear you can see the bottom at 30 feet. A narrow strip of land lies between two blue seas, creating a rare view where the ocean surrounds both sides at once. Pine forests around it highlight the contrast between the dark green of trees, the white pebbles, and the changing watercolors. Zlatni Rat is called a living beach, serving as a natural symbol of Croatia and one of the world's most beautiful coasts. Aspen in Colorado sits at more than 8,000 feet, surrounded by the Rocky Mountains, with many peaks rising over 12,000 feet. The area is marked by vast aspen forests with white trunks and leaves that shift color together, creating a strong impression. The landscape includes deep valleys, steep cliffs and streams from melting ice, adding to its rare diversity. Thin air at high elevation brings clear skies, while shaping both plants and animals adapted to mountain life. Ancient pine stands combined with aspen groves create a special ecosystem where many species of wildlife can thrive. Aspen is known worldwide as a symbol of geological heritage, iconic forests, and the grand beauty of the Rocky Mountains. Bryce Canyon National Park in Utah is famous for thousands of natural stone pillars called hoodoos, formed by erosion over millions of years. The park lies between 8,000 and 9,000 feet, giving wide views and a special high mountain climate. Some hoodoos rise more than 150 feet, looking like giant stone towers standing in limestone valleys. The stones display vivid shades of red, pink, orange, and white, combining together to form a striking and rare geological landscape. Sunlight changes the scenery through the day, making morning views very different from sunset. Bryce Canyon became a national park in 1928, and today is seen as a unique natural symbol of the United States. Bay of Kotor in Montenegro is the deepest natural bay in the Mediterranean, with a winding shape that looks like a rare northern fjord. The bay stretches about 17 miles and is 3 to 5 miles wide, surrounded by limestone mountains rising more than 4,000 feet. Its clear turquoise water reflects the giant mountain walls, creating an unusual and majestic natural scene. Geological uplift, combined with traces of ancient glaciers, shaped the unique landforms of this remarkable bay. The winding form that cuts deep into the land makes the bay almost completely separated from the open sea. Bay of Kotor is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, showing both geological value and magnificent scenery. Jökulsárlón in Iceland is the country's largest glacial lake, formed in the 1930s when massive glaciers began to retreat strongly. The lake covers about 7 square miles and is more than 900 feet deep, making it the deepest in Iceland and still expanding. On its dark blue water float thousand-year-old icebergs, many marked with black stripes left by volcanic ash. The lake connects directly to the Atlantic Ocean through a narrow channel, letting icebergs drift into the sea. Large icebergs often break into smaller pieces, constantly changing the shape of the lake and creating a moving spectacle. Jökulsárlón is today not only a natural symbol of Iceland, but also a filming location for many famous global movies. Hessdalen lights in Norway are a mysterious light phenomenon seen regularly since the 1980s and still without a clear scientific explanation. The glowing lights appear in white, yellow, red, or sometimes blue, and can last from a few seconds to many hours. They move in unusual ways, sometimes standing still in the sky and sometimes racing quickly across the valley. Some lights measure from a few feet to dozens of feet wide and have been recorded by both radar and cameras. Scientists suggest the lights may come from ionized air or special geological reactions happening deep underground. Hessdalen lights are now seen as one of Norway's most famous natural mysteries, attracting both researchers and curious visitors worldwide. Socha Valley in Slovenia is famous for the Socha River, about 85 miles long, with rare turquoise color, called the Emerald of Alps. Its source begins in the Julian Alps above 2,900 feet, flowing through deep valleys and dramatic limestone cliffs. The river's special blue-green color comes from dissolved limestone minerals and reflected sunlight, creating a unique natural scene. The valley was shaped by ancient glaciers and mountain geology, leaving narrow gorges and unusual riverbeds. The water is so clear that the bottom is visible in many places, while flow changes strongly during snowmelt. Today, Socha Valley is praised worldwide as one of Europe's most spectacular natural valleys, combining high mountains, ancient glaciers, and emerald water. The 12 Apostles in Australia are among the country's most famous natural landmarks, created by limestone erosion lasting millions of years. Towering limestone stacks more than 150 feet tall stand offshore along the southern coast, forming a rare and dramatic view. Powerful waves and strong winds eroded the cliffs, separating rock from the mainland and shaping them into isolated pillars. Originally, about 9 stacks existed, but natural collapse has reduced the number to 7 remaining today. The pale yellow limestone glows brightly in sunlight, contrasting with the deep blue waters of the ocean. These formations continue to evolve over centuries, showing the relentless forces of nature constantly reshaping the coastline. Krka National Park in Croatia is famous for its multi-level waterfalls running along the Krka River, creating a rare and striking view. The park covers about 42 square miles, with limestone mountains, green forests, and clear lakes forming diverse scenery. Some waterfalls rise more than 75 feet, plunging into crystal natural pools where sunlight reflects and creates shimmering effects. Several waterfalls stretch hundreds of feet wide like giant curtains, emphasizing the power and intensity of the flowing water. The river winds across limestone layers, where karst geology makes the waterfall's shapes change with seasons and water flow. Its ecosystem includes more than 800 plant species and hundreds of animals across different habitats. Algarve in southern Portugal stretches over 125 miles of coastline with massive limestone cliffs rising directly against the Atlantic Ocean. Coastal caves were carved by the sea for millions of years, forming domes, hollows, and natural gorges rarely found elsewhere. Many caves can only be reached by boat, turning the coastline into a strange stone maze impossible to access by land. Towering limestone pillars, rock spires, and small saltwater pools shaped by pounding waves create a unique coastal ecosystem. Ancient Roman traces remain here, where salt and fish were harvested thousands of years ago, linking geology with enduring human history. The Matterhorn, on the border of Switzerland and Italy, known worldwide for its four-sided pyramid shape that looks perfectly balanced. It was created when the African plate collided with the Eurasian plate millions of years ago, pushing ancient seafloor rocks upward into this iconic peak. In 1865, 7 climbers reached the summit for the first time, but 4 tragically died on the descent, marking a dramatic beginning. More than 500 climbers have lost their lives since then, making it one of the most dangerous mountains for mountaineers anywhere in the world. Its image became part of global culture, featured in the Toblerone chocolate logo, and standing as a powerful natural symbol recognized worldwide. Pyramids of Giza are the largest man-made stone structures ever built, using over 2 million blocks stacked tightly without mortar. Slightly curved edges reflect sunlight, like a prism during spring and fall, equinoxes creating optical phenomena. All 4 sides align almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, with a deviation of less than 0.1 degrees. Internal passageways align with Orion's constellation, while the foundation was manually leveled with under 1 inch of error. Originally covered in polished white limestone, The structure glowed like a desert lantern under the moonlight. Oshginen Lake sits at around 5,250 feet above sea level, surrounded by steep cliffs over 9,840 feet tall, forming a natural bowl-like setting. Its main water source comes from melting snow and ice, giving the lake shifting colors from emerald green to deep blue, depending on the season. Meltwater waterfalls drop straight from the cliffs into the lake, creating rare, free-falling water effects seen only in unique geological sites. In winter, the entire surface freezes into a giant mirror, reflecting the snow-covered mountain walls, towering in every direction. Oshinen is a rare example of a glacial lake that has preserved its untouched appearance and ancient structure for tens of thousands of years. Moraine Lake in Canada sits at about 6,183 feet high, surrounded by icy peaks over 100,000 feet, creating a rare, majestic landscape. The lake's turquoise color comes from glacial rock flour changing with sunlight, making the surface a mirror, reflecting the surrounding mountains. By June, when the snow melts completely, water rises and the lake reaches its brightest and most stunning appearance. The image of Moraine Lake once appeared on the Canadian $20 bill, turning it into a worldwide symbol. It is considered one of the most photographed natural sites in Canada, leaving a strong mark in culture and tourism. Bora Bora in French Polynesia was formed from an extinct volcano about 7 million years ago, with a central peak rising nearly 2,400 feet. The surrounding coral reef almost fully encloses the island, creating a vast natural lagoon rich in marine life. The water shifts from light blue to turquoise depending on depth and angle, producing a rare visual effect seen worldwide. Bora Bora is globally known as the Green Pearl of the South Pacific, a leading symbol of island tourism. During World War II, it served as a U.S. naval base under Operation Bobcat, leaving a unique historical mark. The mix of ancient volcanic origin, massive coral barrier, and colorful lagoon makes Bora Bora both majestic and unusual. Lake Annecy in France was formed from glaciers about 18,000 years ago and is world famous for its rare, crystal-clear turquoise water. The lake stretches over 9 miles long, about 2 miles wide, and reaches 270 feet deep, making it one of Europe's largest mountain lakes. Towering limestone mountains surround the lake, reflecting on the calm surface and creating an unusual mirrored landscape. Since the 1960s, strict environmental programs have preserved its purity, earning the title Green Jewel of the Alps. The lake shelters many rare waterbirds while serving as a hub for swimming, boating, and water sports during the summer. Northern Territory covers more than 52,000 square miles, larger than many European countries, but with only about 300,000 people, making it very sparsely populated. Most of the land is managed by indigenous communities, keeping knowledge and culture with a history of more than 5,000 years. The soil here has very high iron oxide content, giving it a red color and sometimes making compasses point in the wrong direction. Beneath the red soil are ancient marine fossils, while on the surface, thousands of rock paintings over 2,000 years old remain intact. In the dry season, the ground can heat above 158 degrees Fahrenheit, creating mirages that look like lakes on desert plains. Northern Territory is not just a destination, but a survival challenge in Australia's most original wilderness. Reunion Island was fully formed by underwater volcanic activity and did not break off from any continent, creating an extremely steep and dramatic terrain. From sea level to its highest peak, the elevation rises over 1,000 feet, causing climate zones to change with altitude like a tropical desert floating in the clouds. The island's surface has hundreds of cracks stretching for hundreds of meters, many still expanding and unreachable by road. Lava here can flow directly into the ocean, producing boiling steam clouds where red-hot rock meets cold waves. Thick mid-level fog often wraps the mountains, making the entire landscape look like a scene from another planet. People on the island come from French, Indian, and African roots, creating a unique mix of beliefs, food, and traditions not found anywhere else in the world. Boiling Lake is the second largest boiling lake in the world, about 200 feet wide, with a center too violent to measure due to constant steam and bubbles. The lake is fed by steam rising from a deep magma chamber, making the entire surface swirl, boil, and release toxic gases non-stop. Temperatures at the edge can reach nearly 200 degrees, while the center may erupt suddenly if underground pressure spikes. Many instruments sent to the lake have broken within minutes due to sulfuric acid and intense heat. The area is filled with thick sulfur smoke, and the ground turns strange colors, gray, yellow, and green, covered in wide cracks. Visitors must hike for hours to reach the edge, and there are no safety barriers around one of the most dangerous lakes on Earth. Bolton Strid is only about 6 feet wide, but is considered the most dangerous stream in the world due to its near 100% fatality rate. Beneath the calm surface lies a system of hidden caves, cracks, and powerful whirlpools that cannot be seen by the human eye. An entire river is squeezed into this narrow gap, forcing water downward with pressure strong enough to swallow a person in seconds. This small-looking stream is proof that a calm appearance can hide a terrifying force of nature underneath. The Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is about 400 feet below sea level, formed at the Rift Zone, where 3 major tectonic plates are pulling apart. Volcanic eruptions, hot springs and faulting have created salt flats, acidic springs, and colorful crusts from sulfur, iron, and salt deposits. Hypersaline pools and venting CO2 and H2S leave the area nearly lifeless, making it a natural laboratory for studying extreme Earth conditions. A vanished ancient sea left thick salt layers, still extracted by hand through generations as part of long-standing inland trade. Scientists use the region to study life's origins and simulate Martian conditions, while evidence shows Africa is slowly opening into a future ocean.